Welcome to the MWA podcast. I'm Kyle and I'm joined by my co-host Sean. Today we're thrilled to have Jacob Michael Goodman with us. Jacob is a talented wood turner and woodworker working out of a studio in Asheville, North Carolina, where he's an active part of the city's vibrant creative community. So welcome to the show, Jacob.
Thank you. I appreciate being with you guys.
Heck yeah.
Fantastic to have you. Do you know Brandy and Dave from Silver River Chairs in Asheville?
I don't, but I know who they are, and I've been meaning to stop by.
Yeah, they just I think got settled into their new location where since the flood or their studio got flooded out, and I think they had to move. But anyway, were you affected by the flood at all?
I was affected by the storm, not the flood. We had about 20 trees come down on our property.
Oh, man.
One of which was a white oak with about a 5-foot diameter trunk. It was a massive beam.
So you get some good turning wood out of that?
I have been making. I haven't even gotten to the trunk yet. I mean, we
Wow.
just got the trees cleaned up a couple of months ago. It's been a work in progress.
Yeah, I know Brandy and Dave, their studio got flooded. Luckily, their house was fine, but their studio got flooded. So yeah, it's been a mess for them. But yeah, check them out. Well, before we get into talking more with Jacob, let's have a word from our sponsor.
Sutherland Wells knows that exceptional craftsmanship deserves an exceptional finish. That's why they handcraft their full line of low and VOC exempt finishes and stains using the highest quality, cold-pressed, sustainably grown tung oil. Their unique polymerization process delivers the deep penetrating, grain-enhancing, non-yellowing protection of tung oil, while reducing the drying time and allowing the finish to build a beautiful, durable film. Sutherland Wells, the timeless look of traditional oil made for the modern woodworker, and use code MWA25, that's the numbers 25, for 10% off your first order.
And we'd like to thank Sutherland Wells for their sponsorship of this episode. And so with that, let's thank our patrons. So who do we have to thank this week?
Yeah, we like to always give that shout out to our Patreon supporters. Today, we're giving our big old shout out to our friend Kevin McMahon. Kevin, thank you for supporting our show. And if you, listener, if you're not already supporting us, would like to join Kevin in helping us out, you can go to patreon.com/MWA podcast and help us out there.
Yes. And I guess we should have let our listeners know Sean is actually remote today from.
Yeah. So if I sound different, it's because I'm in a hotel room.
Yeah. in the belly of the beast, as he put it, in Buckeye country. Well, with that, let's move on to what's in the shop. So Sean, what's in your shop? Hopefully.
So before I traveled for work,
yeah,
I ran a new to the area half marathon. Pretty cool. Garmin, I'm sure you might have heard of that company, is starting up this marathon series, and they chose Toledo, Ohio as one of their first locations.
Wow.
Wildly. The other one is in Tucson, Arizona, I think. There's another one coming up this year. But I had some friends sign up early. I hummed and hawed, and pretty much a little bit of FOMO. And really wanted to be there for my one buddy who was going to run his first marathon. I decided to sign up 5 days before it, and so I ran down a roll up and down the coast of the lovely muddy Maumee River in Toledo, Ohio, for a half marathon. It was quite enjoyable.
Nice.
Yeah.
How'd your buddy do?
He actually killed it. And I mean, for those that are runners or know of runners, marathon's not easy. To break 4 hours in a marathon for the average runner is not an easy feat. And he came in at just under 3 hours and 41 minutes.
Wow.
Phenomenal time. Phenomenal. We were super proud of him. Got him to cry at the end. It was fun.
Oh, okay.
Drank a few beers with him. That was fun also.
That's right.
Yeah. So otherwise, I'm traveling for work this week, and probably not my last trip of the year, just with a crazy schedule coming up. But that's neither here nor there. How about you, Kyle? What's going on?
Still recovering from my broken collarbone, but everything's good, doing good. I think last time we recorded was right before my doctor's appointment, which was the next day, which was on a Thursday, and I was holding out hope that he might clear me to be able to go to the Texas Woodworking Festival, but alas, no. Because I even had some folks offer me a lift, and that was so kind of them. But I couldn't make it, and I feel a little bit disappointed about that. But everything I've heard is the show was a good success. So here's hoping I'll make it next year, and we'll do all we can.
There you go.
Year. But Robert Tolnai was there, which upset me that I wasn't able to see Rob. So
yeah,
I know, along with everybody else. But I mean, Robert's been a supporter of ours for so long, and we've had him on as a guest, and it was just kind of, it's like, yeah, I know who's going to be there, and I know my old friends that I see once a year, and of course, all Gary Rogowski, he was there, so I didn't get to meet up with him, so it, certain areas it kind of sucked, but I'm glad it was a success, and so we'll hopefully it'll be next year. But as far as I'm doing, I have tomorrow will be hopefully my last follow-up with the doc. I'm actually feeling pretty good. Every day is a little bit better. In fact, I've been in the shop a little bit doing some light tasks, and I can touch my nose and my head and all that kind of stuff, which
that's all very, very positive. How did Austin take it when you said, "Oh man, sorry, short notice, I can't make it"?
Well, luckily I gave him about 2 weeks notice, so he's able to find someone to take over. But that really sucked. But anyway,
hey,
it is what it is. Personal
health comes first, man.
Exactly. So, besides doing some light tasks in the shop, really haven't done much, but I got 3 outstanding orders I need to get to. So I'm hoping I will get those orders shipped out by the end of next week, come hell or high water. So there you go.
All right.
Good. Yeah. But anyway, so Jacob, what have you been working on in your shop?
Oh man, it's been a minute actually since I've been in the shop. We've had a busy couple of months with family in town and traveling.
And trees.
And trees. But I've been dealing with some admin stuff. I have a piece going to a exhibition in a museum coming up. So there's a lot of admin paperwork and getting it ready to send there. So that's kind of what my days have been filled with for this week so far.
Yeah. Well, I must say you make some beautiful, beautiful turnings and vessels and bowls and some other things. I don't know what they are, but they're very beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
They're kind of like these tube type structures. I want to get into that, but before, and I, everyone that's listening to this, go out and take a look at Jacob's Instagram page and just look at some of this stuff. It's amazing. But before we get into all of that, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you grew up and how you got into turning and woodworking.
Yeah, I grew up in the Central Valley of California, mostly moved around a lot. Ended up in the trades working with my hands, and I'm a plumber by trade. I've ran my own company for about 18 years.
Okay.
But the woodworking has always been the passion, and we're kind of working towards phasing out the plumbing. We actually want to start a craft school here in Asheville. And so
nice.
That's kind of the direction we're going. But anyway, the question, how did I get in? That's a good question. I've just always been interested, fiddled around and, got together with friends and made things. And I don't know fully how to answer it because it's been a part of my life for so long.
You're right. That makes sense.
Sure.
Well, that's cool. So, so tell us. So you're looking at starting up a school or something like that to teach classes now, primarily turning, or is it going to be?
I'd like to do a craft school, so all traditional crafts. So I would teach woodworking. My wife is an artist and she does stained glass.
Oh, cool.
We'd be able to bring in teachers to do baskets and leather, whatever. You know? Yeah.
Nice. That would definitely be cool. And I assume it's going to be there in the Asheville area, correct?
Yes,
that's where you're
that's the plan for now. You never know, things change.
That's right. You said you moved around a lot,
Yeah.
From California, boy, from one coast to the other coast.
California to North Carolina. Yeah, truly coast to coast.
Well, my wife's people are from here.
Oh, okay.
My wife's people. Okay.
Yeah. They've been here since the 1700s. So it's,
wow.
That's okay. I say her people are from here. They're from here.
From here.
From here. Gotcha.
Well, that's
beautiful
cool.
area of the country.
Yeah, it is. It is beautiful. So, so tell us a little bit about some of your turning. So, okay, I'm going to ask you. So, what are these tube-like things that are on your web page. You have some, I guess, that's in some sort of charred wood, and then you have some that are looks like some sort of I don't know what kind of wood it is, but it's more pale wood. It looks maybe not sure exactly what it is, but what are these things?
Yeah, they're sculptural pieces.
Okay.
I can't talk to, there's a little bit of some proprietary stuff going on in there that I can't talk about too much, but yeah, I mean, they're sculptural, so they're hollowed down to, maybe about an inch of the bottom is solid, just to give it some stability. And the pale, I'm not sure which ones you're looking at. Are there 2 or 5 in the ones you're looking at?
5. There's 5 in the.
Yeah, that's ambrosia maple.
Ambrosia maple. Okay,
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So I've played with lots of wood for those.
Well, so how long have you been turning?
I mean, I bought a little lathe a long time ago and have piddled around here or there, but really about 5 years, I would say. I bought a real lathe and almost killed myself and decided to go take classes, and so took a class with Ashley Harwood.
Oh, nice.
And I feel like she gave me wings. Ashley is a phenomenal teacher. And really taught me a technique approach. And so just really gave me the tools to begin to explore the wood. And it's interesting because all that you see, it just kind of happened, right? I didn't go into, in my mind, I wanted to make bowls.
Right.
And then the next thing you knew, all this other stuff was happening. So, yeah.
Well, that is so cool. So, and then like one of your latest posts, you have some sort of another sculptural piece, but it looks like this bleached white vessel, and then something that's like, you got some of these tubes again and that thing. What kind of wood is that, and what's the?
Yeah, so those were my submission pieces to the Craft Guild. So I just got into the Southern Highland Craft Guild.
Oh wow! Congratulations! Yeah.
And so those were my submission pieces. So there's this whole long process. The end of it, you submit 5 pieces, and they have this big group of judges to come and judge your work. But those are all they're white oak. They're bleached and whitewashed, and then the bases they're just poplar, but then they're painted with this paint. It's the blackest paint in the universe, they say. It's pretty phenomenal. If you were to paint that onto curved surfaces, it would lose some of the curve. Like it just, things disappear in it. It's very interesting.
I've seen stuff on that. Just how much it just sucks light.
Yeah.
Now it looks like in one of the pieces I'm looking at like a little slideshow type thing of these pieces. It looks like one of them's like so thin it's you can see through the pores in the wood.
Yeah, there's a couple of those pieces are like that. So they're turned very, very thin and then sandblasted. And so that early growth rings are softer, and so they'll erode faster, and you can get some penetration through like that.
Nice. Well, those are fantastic. Just all kinds of interesting artwork and stuff like that. And then, of course, you do some, I guess, spherical turnings too.
Yep. The spheres.
And looks like those are hollow inside too.
Yep. Yeah, they're all hollow through the small hole. 1-inch openings or less, depending on the piece.
Okay. All right. Sounds like you need to start this school up and offer some classes, because I can imagine a lot of people want to learn some of these techniques. That is, I've seen people do that, but I haven't seen somebody that has done it in quite this artistic manner, as far as some of the different textures you're putting on the wood, and I guess charring the wood and stuff like that. That is amazing.
It's interesting with those charred pieces. They are charred, but they're very, very, very deep charring, really high temperature. So you end up with this raku effect, and it's a little hard to pick up in pictures, but in natural lighting, there's reds and blues and golds in there. And it took me probably 6 months to find a way to finish it to retain the look. Everything that I would put on there would just turn it straight black. And so I really wanted to keep that raku essence to it. So anyway, I finally did nail some couple of finishes to put on it to help keep that. So the problem is with chard work, if you don't have something on it, it just gets the mess everywhere, right? You touch it and you just get all over everything.
Right.
Wow.
So
that is amazing. Amazing stuff. So what are some of your favorite pieces that you've done so far during the year?
Oh man. I mean, honestly, it's always whatever my most recent is, like just kind of get something and start doing it, and I fall in love with it until I find something new. So right now it's those white and black pieces, and so I'll be working in that series for a little bit, until I move on.
Nice. That is so cool. Well, out of all the turn pieces, what do you personally enjoy turning the most? As far as some of the stuff that you do?
Yeah, I mean, it would just be the sculptural work.
The sculpture work,
Just kind of free flowing, just kind of not the plan, just kind of finding your own way through it, kind of thing.
It's both. Sometimes it's planned, right? I mean, it could be anything from, you get an idea and sketch stuff out to put a piece of wood on and just see what happens. So it's all of it.
Yeah.
So I mean, I would say not even just the sculpture. I mean, I love it all. I love turning bowl anytime I can be on the lathe. Honestly, if I'm tops or boxes or spindles that's where I want to be.
Honestly. Right.
Cool. Yeah,
that's cool. Now, are you selling these pieces in art galleries and stuff like that?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I show in shows. I have had gallery representation. I'm currently not. I kind of pulled my work out of the gallery just because I'm trying to go a different direction.
Okay.
And so some of that, like I mentioned, I'm in this museum exposition coming up in Virginia this next month, and just kind of building my resume, if you will, so that I can try to get into the galleries I'd like to be in.
Yeah. Well, tell us about that. How does that work as far as these museum exhibitions? I suppose you have to submit pieces for.
Yeah. So it show whether it's at a gallery, these places will put out artist calls.
Mm-hmm.
You have to filter through just a ton of calls trying to find ones that you want to submit to, and then you pay to submit, and then it goes to a jury. Or typically it's a person, it's a juror, and then they have a vision for the show, and if your work fits the show, then you might get in.
Right.
Yeah, so that's that. I mean, I've been in terms of the museums. This will be my second. I was in the Asheville Art Museum. They put on a show after Halloween called Asheville Strong, and so it was just artists that were affected by the storm in Western North Carolina, and it was a great opportunity. I was so glad that they did it. They don't typically work with local artists, and so just a lot of us were happy to be in there.
Sounds like they should for such a event. Yes.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
So, and then this one coming up, the show is called From These Hills. It's like contemporary art of Southern Appalachia.
Mm-hmm.
And so my wife and I both will be in that show, which is kind of amazing. We're both in other show as well. So we try to do that. I mean, she definitely is in a lot more than I am, but she's also submitting to a lot more than me, So, yeah.
Well, good. Well, it's I guess it's fun to have that resource with your wife to be able to say, okay, these are the hoops I have to jump through and all that kind of stuff. And kind of,
sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Exactly. So, well, so do you do commission work?
I don't really put myself out there to do commission work.
Okay.
I mean, I suppose I would, but it has not come up.
Okay. Cool. Well, so what are some, as turning these vessels and these sculptural pieces, what are some of the favorite techniques that you like to use?
Oh man. Yeah, how to answer that. It depends on what you're doing.
Well, you're talking to a bunch of non-turners, right. So
Yeah, so
for spindle turning, that's about it.
Yeah. Well, right. So if you're doing spindle turning, it's turning in that
right.
orientation, and a lot of other work is that face orientation. So you're your techniques are based on what you're working with. My predominant tool or technique is the 40-40 gouge, Ashley Harwood.
Yeah.
I will say this, it's an interesting thing because within the wood turning world, there tends to be people will gravitate to this technique or that technique, and then they claim it's the end all be all.
Right.
And while I do, I love the 40-40 technique and I use it a lot. I kind of more am of the thinking that the more techniques and tools that I can become fluid with, the less resistance there is when I'm trying to create something, because then I can just move in between, right? Because it's like certain tools and techniques are good for what they're good at, but they're not good at everything.
Right. Yeah.
Sure.
Right. And so I'm just like, I want to adopt as much as I can from as many people as I can, because it just helps,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, yeah.
I've done a little bit of turning, and I like just using a skew chisel, which I do not own, intimidates the living hell out of me.
Yeah.
And I know that's not uncommon.
Yeah.
I think I understand it enough. I just would need to spend time with it to get there. Like it's as I've done a little bit of bowl, a little bit of spindle, but nothing grand. And yeah, it's I don't know. That's just one of those things where like I'm very tentative to even try to go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, the skew's tricky. Honestly, I would advise people to go to the beading and parting tool before the skew. There are, when you're working through stuff, there are some things that a skew is just great at, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're great at your V cuts and a few things, but really most of your work you can do with a gouge.
Yeah,
but you need that other tool. Like if you're going bead to bead, you need to get into the corners, and you can't do that with a gouge.
Sure.
And so the beading and parting tool is easier to have control to do that if you're, getting two beads into a tight little coat.
Into a tight. Yeah. Understood.
Yeah. I do the same thing. I'm decent with a skew, but I can't get that glass finish that some people can get off the skew. So yeah, I'm just like, sandpaper.
It's all about the angle of the dangle. Finish while you cut.
But it's one of those things. You just got to do it enough to where it's second nature. You got that, you develop that muscle memory and stuff like that, and because I'm not I'm not scared of the catches or anything like that. I rarely catch. I just can't get quite that glass finish, going down.
No same finish.
And it's probably just because I don't do it enough, basically. Yeah. And the limited amount of spindle turning I do, it's mainly for my jigs and stuff. And that's a totally different type of turning, because I'm turning these things at an exact 6-degree included angle. It's a little thing that fits into your tapered leg socket. So it's a 6-degree ringed socket. So I got a piece that fits in there. So I got a jig basically, or a fixture on my lathe that will cut that perfect 6-degree, paper. So,
you're turning for tool production.
Exactly. So, so tell us about, you said you started taking classes with Ashley. So what other classes have you taken?
Yeah, so my first class was with Ashley, and that she's a great teacher. I work through bowl making with her. I've done Stuart Batty. I took some spindle turning stuff with Stuart.
Okay.
But he's phenomenal. Just a wealth of knowledge.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of his videos on spindle turning. Yes.
Sorry, I'm having a little bit of it's hard. I've taken a few here and there, small ones, just through the local club when maybe somebody's teaching a technique that I want to learn, thread chasing or whatever. I'll go do those little workshops. But probably I would say I've really only done 3 real classes. And so that's Ashley, Stewart, and David Ellsworth.
Okay.
So
David Ellsworth. Okay, nice.
Yeah, very good.
Yes. Now he recently passed away.
He did, yeah. And I live about 20 minutes from his house.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Wow.
And he was a friend of mine, and really a mentor. He was just the most amazing guy, so kind, and so you just go hang out. He would talk to you and share his stuff with you for hours. He was so happy, and his house is full. Any turner that you could ever think of, I'm sure this guy Jay Paul, his house is full. I mean, it's like a museum. And I'd bring my work over, things I was working on, and he would give me feedback. Just a great guy. And one of the questions you want to ask is like, who has been the most inspirational? I would say David for sure. I mean, it's interesting because I did do a class with him, and I did learn some techniques, but mostly I learned just the inspiration and the mentality of really thinking about your work as art. I think oftentimes in woodworking, there's this thing that happens where people kind of make a disconnect from art and design, and it's just craft or hobby, and they don't really delve into the art side of it. And he really encouraged that in me.
Cool. Yeah, it's one of those things when you meet somebody like that, like you said, it's not so much the techniques or the things like that. It's more the inspiration that makes you desire to get off your butt, get on the lathe and start turning and making something. Yeah, that is very, very interesting. Well, so tell us about your studio. You mentioned you bought a real lathe. So what kind of real lathe do you have? Where do you keep it at?
Yeah. So my shop, so my in-laws own a house next door to us.
Okay.
They don't live here yet, but they bought a house to move here. And my shop is in their garage and basement. So they're built here. I'm working on building my own space on my property, but this has been here for a few years now, and I'm using it.
Heck yeah.
There you go. Well, hopefully you get along well with them in case you don't move.
Yeah, no, they've been so helpful, and they love my work in the space. So lathe, you're asking what lathe? I have a Powermatic 3520C.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, the nice big one. Yeah, that is a nice lathe. Now, do you have it with the vacuum attachments and all of that stuff?
Yeah, I have all the doohickeys for it. Yeah, all the chucks and the vacuum chucks and all the different things. Yeah.
That is cool.
Yeah. It's funny because when I bought that thing, I bought it through Klingspor. And the fella that was there when I bought it, he said to me, this is the cheap part, right? And at that time, it was about $5,000,
Sure.
And so I'm like, man, what are you talking about? It turns out he was right. That's the cheap part. There's a lot of other stuff that goes into it that you need.
All the chucks and jigs and extended banjos and yada yada yada.
Yeah. Oof. Do you have when you're doing your spherical things, do you have that little jig that goes around and helps with those? Nope. Wow.
It's all freehand. Yep.
Nice.
Oh wow.
That is cool. That is cool.
Yeah, that's a beastly little lathe, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like a longer one. I kind of have. Is it okay to jump around? I know some of the questions.
Oh, sure.
What do I want?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
No, please.
Yeah, so I kind of have a vision to make some very big pieces, tall, 4 and 5 foot vessels.
Yeah.
This won't do that, and so I need to figure out some point to either buy or build a larger, longer lathe. So
what's the one lathe that has? I mean, I think there's more than one that has the movable drive head that you can slide it off to the end.
Yep. Yeah, this does that, but you still need
the mass. Yeah.
The banjo and the tool, like you need all the things, So I really need to be able to put a big giant chunk in between centers to do my initial shaping and.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that would be interesting to have that kind of depth to it.
Yeah. So is that something that you can buy commercially, or you mentioned making it? Is it some more that you can make?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of antique, like Oliver's an antique lathe that could be pretty big.
Yeah, I know back in the day they had all kinds of huge lathes and stuff like that they used, especially in shipbuilding and stuff like that. Yeah.
So, I mean, I think you can get a couple of the manufacturers will custom make them for you. But that is expensive to go that route, you know.
Sure.
So probably would pick up an Oliver somewhere at some point.
Right, right.
You're getting into that kind of niche end of turning where only things needed when you're talking about that capacity. Not many people are doing things of that capacity.
Yep.
Yeah. Now, what kind of pieces do you want to make that are that big?
Yeah, vessels of different kinds.
Yeah, okay.
Those tubes that you mentioned,
Right.
I'd like to do 4 and 5 foot tall ones, and just large vessels of different.
Yeah. You get into different math when you're doing with that because you need something to spin incredibly slow when you have a large diameter because it kind of multiplies as you get bigger and bigger.
Yeah, it sure does.
Yeah. So that's very interesting.
Yeah. Now you do turn a lot of live edge stuff, for lack of a better terminology, or things that have bark inclusions and stuff like that. How difficult are those to do?
Yeah, I mean the it's not that bad. I mean, you just have to make sure you're getting wood that it'll stay on. And so typically you need the wood to come down in the winter. Like if you pull the wood down in the spring or in the summer, that bark, because there's sap in there, the bark will just come right off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. And so if you take a tree down in the winter when it's dormant, it's essentially glued on there. And so you do have to be careful on the edges. You do have to it will break off. You have to be mindful of it.
Yeah.
So,
and if it does,
anything to help like secure it, even like that? Do you seal it or enclose it at all? You just leaving it raw and just working with it.
Yep.
So you don't do any of that vacuum resin impregnated stuff or any of that? Cool. And then of course, if something does break off, it's just another design opportunity.
There you go.
Yeah, possibly, or it's catastrophic.
Or it's catastrophic.
Yeah.
That is interesting. Now you have one piece that I guess is a sphere that you're doing that it's a little video that's on your website that shows you going inside of this, but it looks like instead of a little hole, it looks like it's like part of what I guess was a bark inclusion or something.
Yeah. That's a piece of cherry burl. And so if if you're dealing with has undulations and pieces right where it goes in, you can use that as the hole and end up with that natural shape.
Yeah.
That's one that when I talked about catastrophic, that one ended catastrophic.
Oh, okay.
Really? Oh, boy.
It was heartbreaking. I was so excited about that piece. I have a buddy who's a tree guy locally, and he brought me this big piece of burl, and I threw it on, and I was almost done hollowing it, and I just caught it just wrong, and it ripped it off the lathe, shattered it, and I put my tool down and went up to my house and didn't come back down for a few weeks. I was pretty bummed on that one.
Oh man.
O'Malley, I was actually going to ask you that earlier. So, I mean, when you're doing detailed, thin-walled vessels, small inclusion vessels like that, like what is your failure rate? I don't need a true percentage, but I know it happens.
Yeah, it does happen. I mean, that's a good question, percentage wise. That's tricky because sometimes I feel like you'll get a hold of some wood and you'll have a higher failure rate than other woods. It's just the nature of the piece. And it is interesting because, I feel like it's happened so much that there's no more emotion when it happens. Mostly.
Yeah, you eventually just get numb to it, right?
Yeah.
Pardon. It does happen, and you just have to move on.
Yeah. I just know like there are some times where it's early in the process, but there's got to be times that sometimes you're hours into the process, and then bang, oof.
Yeah, and it's a part of it. You just have to adapt and move on, and then sometimes kind of rework it and make it into something else. And sometimes it's firewood,
sometimes half pretty firewood, or more than half.
Well, yeah, I know I would be cleaning my shorts if something like that happened on the lathe for me. But anyway, I guess you get used to it after a while.
Well, it's interesting, when you're turning bigger things, it's not going that fast. So when it comes off, it's not flying.
Right.
If a spindle comes off, it's going to launch.
Yeah.
But that piece, I mean, that was probably 400 RPMs. It's not flying. It just kind of goes chunk.
Yeah.
Right.
Round, but I mean, you could get hurt, but it's not likely.
Nice. That is so cool. Well, so what is your favorite wood to turn? Do you have a favorite?
Whatever I find on the side of the road.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna, because you mentioned the pieces that we talked about at the very, very beginning. You said were white oak. That can't be terribly nice to turn.
No, it's not very pleasant.
Okay.
It's not a pleasant wood to turn. Either is walnut. You turn walnut.
Yeah.
I'll wear
Oh, yeah.
because I feel sick. Like I can feel it in. And some things are just kind of chippy and chunky, and other things are ribbons, and it's cherry and soft maple are a joy to work with.
Yeah.
Yeah. But most of my wood I find on the side of the road. I'll buy exotic wood on occasion for if I'm going to make some boxes or something. Or just recently, I'd learned how to do thread chasing, and so I bought some lignum vita, and it thread chases like butter. It's beautiful.
Oh, I bet.
Oh, yeah.
It's strong is what that is. I mean, it's a dense fibered wood.
Yeah. Now you're chasing these threads manually?
Yep. Yeah. Thread chasing. You have a tool, and it has threads on the end of one side, and on the other, it's on the side. So you can do the internal and then the external, and it's all by hand on the lathe.
Wow. That's really cool.
That is
hard to get accurate. Like, is it difficult to space it properly? Like,
I don't
or
think
pitch
so.
it properly, I think.
No, I don't think so. I mean, there's kind of a sequence that you go through,
Okay.
and you do your internals first, and then you do you do female threads, and then the male. You just do it little by little, check it little by little, check it until the biggest point is to make sure that they're square, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to taper thread, and it's not too hard, honestly.
That's wild. I would think that would be rather difficult because I've seen, I guess they make jigs and stuff like that to do that also, where it doesn't require a lot of work.
Yeah, they do. So the thing is that they do make jigs, and I would like one. The thing is not all woods will thread chase.
Okay.
Right. Only certain woods. So to have a jig that will cut threads into anything. So if you're making boxes or urns or whatever, you can have a threaded lid on any wood. So there's value to it, but I kind of like the hand approach,
Right.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Well, so
not all woods can stand up to that pitch. I mean, the fibers, and depending on the depth, it'll just tear apart, right?
Yeah, and it's interesting because you can have very, very hard wood and it won't thread.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. I live not that far from Cormac International, if you know what that is. They're a wood importer.
Okay.
I will go rummage through their bins of scrap essentially, and I picked up this stuff. They said they think it was a sticker that came on something, and they think it was some kind of Brazilian teak, and it's heavy. I mean, it is dense. But it's an open grain, and it won't thread at all.
No,
because of that open grain, it just rips the threads off.
Yeah.
And so you need dense and closed grain, right? And so there aren't African blackwood and things of this nature. So yeah.
I'd be interested. My dad years ago did his deck in Ipe.
Okay.
An exotic, kind of like a tropical hard wood. I saw that throw sparks off a carbide blade.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you could get through it, but I'd be and it's denser than hell. I mean, it is heavy.
Yeah. I actually just picked up a piece recently to try and thread it. I haven't got it on the lathe yet, but I was.
Yeah, I'm curious of just how difficult that might be, because you need a sharp, hard blade to cut it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. So, well, talking about your shop, so what's your sharpening routine? What do you use to sharpen your tools?
Yeah, so it depends on what I'm sharpening.
Yep.
So you know, the 40/40 setup, you have to sharpen by hand. You can't use a jig. And so I have a Jet 8-inch digital grinder.
Okay.
So it goes slow speed to high speed.
Okay.
And then with C wheels, and then I have the SB tool platform, if you're familiar with that. It's a great system. So that I'll grind the 40/40. I'll do my scrapers, negative rake scrapers and regular scrapers on there. I also have a Tormek. There are certain things that I like the Tormek for. So obviously any straight, if it's the beating and parting or if it's the skew, they go on the Jet, all freehand. I like to do my spindle gouges on the Tormek, and there are some other gouges that I like on the Tormek. And then I have the David Ellsworth grind. I have that, and that has a little jig. I have that set up to freehand freehand with his jig on the Jet as well. And then I just picked up at a thrift store. They had this Rikon slow speed, so I was like, well, maybe I can just keep that at an angle for the scrapers. I'm still playing with that to see that when I'm not changing the angle so frequently, you know?
Yeah.
So
yeah. So you got the Rikon 8-inch slow speed. Yeah. I got one of those too. It's worked fairly well for years. You know, it's not. I don't think it's up to a Jet or a Baldur or anything like that. But you know, it's not bad. It works. It works. Now you said you're using CBN wheels.
Yep. I'm trying to see if I can show you here. But
that's it. Nice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The CBN. So I have an 80 grit and a 600 grit CBN wheel. And then obviously
that is a large stretch between those two.
Well,
80 and 600.
Yeah, really the 80 is just getting used to shape.
Yeah.
Sure.
Right. So you're always going back. If I'm in between sharpenings, it just goes to the 600. I mean, really, if you have good tools with good steel, you're not sharpening that often, really, you know. So, and they're not, if you're doing it often enough, it just needs the quick touch up. You're not on the grinder for a long period of time anyway, you know.
Yeah, makes sense.
What kind of lathe tools are you using? Do you use a little bit of everything, or are you in?
I have a lot. The handle system is the SB and the Ashley Harwood system.
Okay.
So they're carbon fiber handles with these threaded inserts, and so it makes it nice. So if you're sharpening, you could pull the handle and you're not seeing this thing in front of you. Obviously, for the 40/40s, I have Ashley's tools. They're great tools. I have some Thompson tools. I have a lot of Carter and Sons.
Okay.
So,
that's what I have. I have a bunch of Carter and stuff.
Yeah. It's interesting because the Ashley's and the Thompson, they're 10V, and it's a great steel. I have not seen a lot of difference in terms of, I mean, I feel like they're neck and neck in terms of in between the M42 and the 10V, neck and neck, and how long it takes to sharpen them. But the 10V for your negative rake scrapers, I feel like will hold the burr longer.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I have both. I have M42 and 10V, and I do feel like that the 10V works better as a negative rake scraper. I am interested to see Stewart's supposed to be coming out with some 15V tools if he gets them out. I am interested to see what happens with those. So we'll see.
Well, that's interesting. I recently bought a little jig that's supposed to clamp on to a scraper, which I do not own. I don't own any scrapers, so I'm gonna have to buy one. But I appreciate that because I've been down the Carter and Son pathway. You know, I got a bunch of I got some of their let's see, I got 2 of their skews and a bunch of their spindle gouges, but I don't have a scraper. So I was going, well, to use this tool and figure out if it works. It's basically a little jig that helps you create perfect diameters. It's a little different than using a Badan, which is a lot of what spindle turners do in the Windsor things to get like a 5/8 inch tenon. This thing has like it attaches to a scraper, and it has like a little piece of metal that comes down at a specific angle. And apparently when you get it close, you can then use this tool to, just finesse it and fine tune it. But I don't know. I haven't tried it out yet, but to use it, I need to get a negative rake scraper. So I was like, cool. I'll have to go for the V10 still. Yeah.
It's an interesting pathway you take. To do
What?
I'll get a jig, so I need to buy a tool.
Well, I saw it, and it was like the little jig was like $25.
Okay.
And it's like, okay, well, it's worth $25, and there's some things I could use a scraper for that I don't, and I don't have one. I should have a scraper. Any good turner, I think, should have a scraper. So anyway, so I thought, well, I can do this. I need to try it out. I think there's a way with some of the tooling I have. I think I can get I do have some of those easy wood tools. It's probably blasphemy me even mentioning those, but I think one of those will actually fit in there, and so I can try it out and see if it actually works. And then if it actually does what I think it's going to do, then I can invest in $200 or $150 tool to satisfy me.
Sure.
Like you said, the lathe is the cheap part, right?
Yep.
So, well, with that, so Jacob, tell us about some of your other pursuits outside of turning and woodworking.
Yeah. So obviously I live in the mountains here. I spend a lot of time in the woods. I love to hike and mushroom hunt. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, another thing this isn't outside of woodworking, but you just recently helped Jeff Wyatt with one of his Windsor classes.
I did.
Even though you're not a chair maker, you're burgeoning on entering that dark side of woodworking.
Yeah, that's true. So I do some furniture making as well, but the green woodworking world is all new to me. So Jeff White's a buddy of mine, and he had me come and help him do a class. We did fan back rockers, and it was awesome. I mean, yeah, it was great. I mean, I was able to help people, but I also learned so much through the process, and kind of came back and have started gearing up. I have a lot of tools that I've collected over the years, and now I get to buy more.
And that's a good thing.
And it's a good thing, yes.
Well, with that, let's dip into our fortnightly beer choices. So I will start us out. I'm having St. Arnold's Oktoberfest. Yes, it's that time of year.
It is that time of year.
And it's a fine Oktoberfest. Full-bodied and malty. I think it's 6% alcohol. It's not too much, not too little. So not bad. So Sean, what are you drinking?
So on the road, and if you ever get a chance to travel where an Embassy Suites is, please do so, because free beer, free hotel beer is the way to go. So I got a little free Yingling lager this evening.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, are they limiting you on how many free beers
They
you can
do
have?
not. We've been to, this is back in the day when the kids were playing sports. We traveled a lot.
Yeah.
We'd stayed in a lot of different hotels. And I think it was in Tennessee where they had a 3-drink maximum or something like that. But no, this one, at least in Ohio, there's a couple that I've stayed in. There you can take 2 at a time, and I've never seen anybody get stopped.
Yeah.
But
I just always remember the old Woodworking in Americas where, all of us staying at the Embassy Suites would get the people that were staying at the Marriott next door to come over, and then we'd bring them all beers.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Jacob, what about yourself? Do you have a beer to recommend?
West Mall Triple all day long. Yeah,
Oh,
that's my favorite beer.
Oof. Triple, huh?
Nice.
So that's on the beer side. On the Scotch, it would be Log of 116.
Okay.
Yep.
A man of fine taste there. Man of fine taste.
Hey, I did the math. Actually, with the Lagavulin, it's cheaper for me to buy the Lagavulin than to buy beers. So there you go.
There you go.
Because you drink 3 ounces at a time. That's important.
Exactly. It lasts longer. It works out. At least that's
Yeah, pound for pound.
That's
It's the better deal.
Well, Jacob, where can folks find you on the interwebs?
Yeah, so I'm Jacob Michael Goodman on Instagram. Same with the website. The website's kind of in development right now, jacobmichaelgoodman.com. Also, I'll be teaching a class at Aramont this coming year, so people can look on their website soon and find my class on there.
Oh, nice. That's a nice school.
Very cool.
Well, with that, Sean, tell us about the feedback we've had.
Yeah, so recent episode 572 with Bob Miller, Richie underscore engineer, I should say, said, anyone posting with a McMaster catalog is a true professional. I don't make the rules. And I totally agree. I don't have a McMaster catalog.
Well, you got to get to that spending level before they send you the McMaster catalog.
Yeah. I have bought some, but I do the less than 10 pieces kind of purchasing from McMaster when I do it. So I'm probably not.
There's a level. It's not like the Uline catalog. Which
I was going to say Uline came to mind. I definitely get Uline, but I can't remember ever ordering anything from them. But I get that damn catalog.
It's funny you say that. I have a buddy that runs a knife making school, Charles Lionheart. He just got that and posted it. Now I have arrived. They gave him the catalog.
There you go. Now you know. I wonder what that the talk of the office and McMaster car is like, we got a new one. Somebody else, it's like number of people post threshold, they're tracking it. Like, how many more can we get to make more and send more?
Well, I'm not going to toot my own horn because there's nothing to toot here. I buy a lot from McMaster and I haven't got to the catalog level yet.
So a guy who's got a small tool company isn't on the McMaster catalog list yet.
Yeah, and I'll probably spend at least $500 a month with them. Yeah.
You should request it. Somebody know people at McMaster hook pile up.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry to get so off track there. Also commenting on the Bob Miller episode, Chunky Black Dog says the bench. What is it? The bench rulist. That bench rules! Exclamation point. I read that completely wrong. Only a poser wouldn't have a bench like that. So truer words couldn't be said.
Fantastic. Well, if anyone would like to post, give us some comments. We welcome them all, whether they're good or bad. You can always post a comment on Instagram at MWA_podcast, or, hit us up on your favorite podcatcher, whether you get us through Spotify, Apple, whatever, and go out there and leave us a 5-star review. We certainly would appreciate it.
Heck yeah.
And that just about wraps it up for this show. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the show on the podcatcher of your choice. Just search for the Modern Woodworkers Association. And while you're there, please leave us a review. You can follow us on Instagram at MWA_podcast. And if you'd like to support the podcast, go over to patreon.com/MWA podcast. But the best thing you can do is tell a friend. Word of mouth goes a long way in sharing our discussion.